wanted to share my journey of obtaining CPA Canada designation by using the CPA US designation. And I thought this would be meaningful to some individuals is because at times while I was going through, obtaining my CPA Canada designation, I was trying to reach out to people to see, how people could help me in getting the, process easier for me. But except a handful of people, in my current organization where I was working, I did not see anyone really know about this, much in detail, and fairly so, because a lot of people, are chartered accountants from India, and they come in to Canada, and they don't know about this route. So, I just thought that we could just go through how easy can this route be, provided we have the CPA, US exams cleared. A couple of years ago, I thought, CPA US was difficult to get because people had to travel to the US and give that exam. But, a couple of years back, it is now very prominent in India. You can give the exams for CPA US in India. So it has become easier for people to obtain a designation back home. And if they have plans traveling to Canada, they can use that designation and directly get into the market, without having to spend too much time doing CPA Canada, by using, let's say, starting from scratch, it could take up to 3 to 5 years, or using the CFE route, which you require at least a year and a half to get your preparations done and give that exam, which is, in my opinion, I was, lucky enough that I had my CPA US designation beforehand. So I was able to use this route to, obtain a CPA Canada designation and a membership right through. So I'll just move forward and move to the next slide, and let's go through the process. Udit, can you see my screen moving?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not moving.
Okay.
I can see just the first one. Yeah, now it's moving.
Okay, perfect. So, AICPA has a mutual recognition agreement, which is also called as an MRA, where the AICPA body and the CPA Canada body have merged and have come to an agreement that if you have obtained or cleared the US CPA exam through any of the states, they have a list of states listed down on their website, and I think it almost covers all the states. Um, but it's better to check which state. CPA Canada has a reciprocity, so it's better to always check that web page. Just like the United States, the laws and regulations for the membership varies with the states, and over here in Canada, it also varies, with the province you are dealing. So if you're dealing with Ontario, the you have to check the website of Ontario. If you're dealing with British Columbia, you have to check the British Columbia, Alberta, and so on and so forth. So each individual province will have different regulations and different requirements. So it is very important for us to check each province whether they have a recognition agreement with the other state. So if I would explain starting by what are the key requirements for a US CPA. So uh, if you have done the US CPA exam, and one thing to note, which is very important, is to get the US CPA done before you become a resident of Canada. So if you're coming on a work permit, if you're coming on a PR, if you're coming on a student visa, uh, as far as possible, uh, it is better to get the US CPA done before you come to Canada. There are some requirements if you want to use this route after coming to Canada, but it almost becomes difficult to kind of achieve that. And I can explain the requirement later on. To use this route, If you've come to Canada and you want to still use this route, there is an additional requirement which you have to fulfill. So right now, the minimum education requirement is you need at least 150 semester hours of credit. So, if you have done your US CPA, you would have gone through the process of obtaining the transcripts, knowing what your credits are. If you've done a bachelor's degree, they will allot you some credit. So you would always know what your credits are. So for US CPAs, you would require 150 semester hours of credit to be eligible, and so that is something which US Canada also accepts. Sorry, the CPA Canada also accepts it. Then US CPAs must at least have 30 months, that is 2.5 years of work experience in auditing, taxation, or financial accounting. Uh, to be able to qualify to use this MRA. So 30 months of relevant work experience is required. You have to clear all the US CPA examination, that there are 4 papers. You have to clear all the examination uh, for kind of getting eligible for CPA Canada and this MRA. And you have to also maintain an active CPA license to kind of apply for the CPA Canada designation. So before using this route, you would have to complete all your CPA examination, obtain a license, and then apply for this MRA. So I'll explain these details in a little bit more. What are the educational requirements are? The CPAs must have a minimum of a bachelor's degree or a higher to be eligible for this certification. Second is it has to be concentrated in the field of accounting or any related field, so audit, taxation, or closely relating to that field, or even financial reporting is acceptable. So these are the educational requirement of CPA Canada, which you will need for using this MRA route. What are the experience requirement? The accounting experience of 30 months which you gain, you should have gained that within the last 5 years. So you would definitely need a recent experience, and you would, any experience after, beyond the 5 years is generally not accepted by CPA Canada or CPA Ontario. So your accounting experience should have been the recent one. And as we mentioned, it should be anything on auditing, taxation, on financial reporting. And you should have been in compliance with your CPE requirements. So this is very important. One should be very careful that their CPE requirements are up to date, and any accounting body would only issue a, a good standing letter if they have are if they are in compliant with CPA. They would not issue a good standing letter if you don't have if you're not compliant, and this could be an impediment for getting your CPA Canada membership. What are the ethical and professional requirements? You need to maintain a good standing with the US state board, which they can directly talk to the CPA Canada board and say that this particular member is in good standing. They have their ongoing professional development skills up to date. Is when the CPA US will issue a good standing letter to CPA Canada, Ontario, or whichever province you're applying to. And obviously, and this goes without saying that you need to adhere to CPA Canada's ethical and professional standards, which are, any criminal conduct or anything of background sort will kind of impact your membership. So that is, goes without saying in that situation. So in terms of, registering for CPA Canada, you would definitely need to clear all CPA examinations, uh, have a license, US CPA active license from any state board, and you should have complied with the CPE requirements, that is the professional education requirements. So these are the 3 prerequisites before even we can start applying for CPA Canada using this route. So these are the three important, steps which it is better if you have it in place, uh, before you apply for CPA Canada. There are some required documents which I've listed down what you would need, and these are also available on their website. The proof of ID, residency documents of your, staying in Canada, uh, letter of good standing. This letter of good standing will needs to be, coming from uh, the accounting bodies where you are members with. So if let's say you're a accounting, if you're a member with California Board of Accountancy, so you would need to reach out to them and request to send a letter of good standing to the CPA Ontario Board. Secondly, if you are a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, you need to reach out to them and obtain the letter of good standing and ask them to revert directly to CPA Ontario. So those are the steps. If you are a member of any other accounting body, you would have to definitely obtain that good standing letter, and that is slightly a time consuming process. So that is something which one wants to keep in mind uh, before applying, for CPA Canada. Then, along with the letter of good standing, you would also need the transcripts with examination dates and results. So, with, let's say, California Board of Accountancy, you would need the transcripts with the exam date, with the exam result, with the exam marks. That is something which you have to request California Board of Accountancy to directly send to CPA Ontario. Letter of good standing with all other accounting bodies we already covered. Then there is something called as practical experience certificate attested by the International Trained Accountant. So there is an elaborate form which is broken down into 20 or 25 points, covering audit, tax, financial reporting, or any other experience which a candidate has. And it has been broken down into 20 to 25 points where you have to fill up whatever relevant experience you have. And they have further broken down into level one, level zero, level one, or level two in terms of the expertise of the experience. Level two being the, that you are an expert in that particular section of assurance or tax. And so you have to rate yourself, and it has to be attested by a US CPA, or any someone who's has the international trade accounting designation to help you with this practical experience certificate. In my experience and in my case, I got it uh, attested with my superior, and he was able to do it pretty quickly. So that's something which you will have to figure out, the with your colleagues who would be able to attest your experience, and that would be something which where you have worked with, and it even in your current designation, if you have changed jobs or so, you can request that person to attest that. So that is something which is an important step which is required, and it might be overwhelming to overwhelming in filling out those details. To me it was. So if people require help, we can always reach out as to how things should look like. And there is also a practical experience requirement tool which is uploaded by CPA Ontario to help you fill out this. It's a very detailed one, but it's a recommended tool which you can use. You can use it, or you can just uh, fill in your own experience. But that's a useful guidance to fill in that document. Then you need to have a detailed chronological resume ready, which is right from the time you started working till the time your current designation, what you are doing. It is very important to give all the information to them, and as they have multiple sources to verify, and this really is a requirement which they have. And the other requirement is they need a recommendation from two Canadian CPAs that you have the required experience, you have the the required skill set to obtain the CPA Canada designation. And you could definitely reach out to them and see, and they will have to sign recommendation forms. It's a one-pager document, nothing. It's not a big deal. It's just a referral document which we need to use. Um, for any other questions, if you have ITA registration at cpaontario.ca, this is only for Ontario. There is a list of uh, email addresses for others as well. So you could always go look through CPA Canada's website, or if you need help, I can locate that for you and I can help you out. Um, this is a email where you can reach out to them. They will respond in a day or two's time, and they're pretty responsive. And there is also a contact number where you can reach out to them, and a helpline number, where they answer your queries. But they always would um, re- recommend you to write on email, which is helpful for them as well to respond. So these are the steps and the required document which you need for CPA Canada. Um, there is also another um, exam which you can give. This is optional. You can give if you want to practice public accounting, anything in financial reporting, taxation, or law. There is an exam which is required to be given, which is called as a CPA Reciprocity Education Examination Program, which is only the exam when you use the US CPA route. And this is only required if you want to practice public accounting, you want to sign audit reports, you want to sign tax returns, and so on and so forth. So this is an optional exam which comes in after you become a member of CPA Canada or CPA Ontario. So that is something one can consider. This exam happens once a year, and it generally happens in the month of September. So if someone wants more information, I can share separately, but it mainly covers the four aspects of accounting. It covers financial reporting, so that it covers uh, accounting, audit, taxation, and law. So those are the four subjects. It's a multiple choice question. There are about 110 MCQs which you have to give. It's a day's exam, so you have to go to the center for 4.5 hours exam, give your answers, and you receive your results 2.5 months or so. So this is an optional exam if someone wants to give. Otherwise, you're fine without giving the exam as well. I've just shared some pointers on things which I wish I knew, beforehand. If someone would have helped me, before, I would have saved, some amount of time. But I've just listed down some points which, helped me in during the process of, no one else or everyone can at least go through this guidance and save some time. So it is very important to have a US CPA license before you apply for CPA Canada. In my experience, I did not have a US CPA license when I was in Canada, but don't worry. If you have come to Canada, you have cleared all the uh, if you have cleared all the papers before coming to Canada, you can obtain a US CPA license even while you are in Canada. So that is not a impediment for you guys to obtain a US CPA license even if you are in Canada. Uh, as I said, complete US CPA before becoming a resident of Canada. Try and do that if you have friends back home. And now that giving US CPA exam is so easy and it can be completed in a year's time. If they have plans of coming to Canada, it is better that they complete their US CPA before coming to Canada, as it gets difficult when you actually come to Canada and then try to use this route. So the additional requirement which needs to be fulfilled is applicant who wrote one or more parts of the USCP examination while a resident of Canada must, in addition to the above eligibility requirements, have obtained either a university degree from a degree granting institute of higher education in the US or Mexico as a result of having attended the institution in person for classroom instruction on a full-time basis, or they should at least have 1 year of full-time practical experience in accounting in the US or Mexico. So they require you to either have a degree granting, relating to accounting, or at least one full-time practical experience in the US, which, if you're in Canada, becomes difficult to achieve. So this route gets difficult after you've become a resident of Canada, and that's the reason it is suggested that you should do the US CPA before you become a resident of Canada. Uh, some of the hindrances which I faced with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, because I wanted a letter of good standing to be given from ICAI to CPA Ontario. My membership dues were not paid. So in order to get a seamless experience, I think we should pay out the membership fee in time, and you can pay the membership fees in advance. So that is also something I'm sure a lot of the members already know this. So they can fill up their membership due in advance, so they don't face any difficulty obtaining the letter of good standing. No, they have come up, I think, with something called as Know Your Member form. Um, it's KYM, and it's all done by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India online. So know your member is something which they want you to update your address, your professional address, and your resident address, your phone number, and so on and so forth. So they require you to do that now. Without this, you cannot move forward. Then your CPR should be updated with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. That is something which you have to send emails, or you now there's a system of uploading on their website. So that is something, you should ensure that you upload all your CPE hours. And there is a process online to obtain good standing letter even from ICA, which is now become seamless, but it can be cumbersome if you don't have the above three already done, because you have to follow each step to get your letter of good standing, and only then. So it took me a couple of months to get those. So it is better if we have that in place, if we plan to apply that before you kind of uh, get into the process of applying with CPA Canada. What are the timeline for obtaining CPA Canada license after we have everything? They take at least 12 weeks, which is roughly 4 months, or 3 to 4 months in getting those um, application approved. So this is something which you should have ample time. They take ample time, and they have questions. They come back to you. There is a little bit of back and forth, but they will at least take 12 weeks to get you that membership. And if you can always pick up the phone, you can always write them emails as to where your process is, and they will explain it to you. But this is the minimum amount of time you should keep in mind, um, before keep in or expect to receive your CPA Canada membership. If let's say if you're planning to give this exam, you need a membership before giving this exam. So let's say this exam happens only in September of every year. So if you want to give your this exam, you have to be registered as a member first. So you at least need time of 4 to 5 months, I would say, in hand to become a member. You can simultaneously register for this exam, but they will only let you appear for this exam if you are a member. So you should at least have 4 to 5 months of buffer in hand to kind of apply for CPA Canada, and the relevant jurisdictions. We all know the opportunities which opens up after you already have CPA Canada. So that is something which is very easy to understand, and it will give you various opportunities over your workplace. So this is kind of a good must-have designation. Um, yeah, in conclusion, the process is pretty straightforward, but it can be cumbersome when you kind of hit a roadblock. So if you have any questions, I've done this now, so I know what are the challenges I faced, and if we need any assistance, I'll be happy to help, and you can reach out to me on email or LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to help anyone on in this process. So that's all I wanted to cover with it. If you have any questions, happy to answer those.
Hey, hello everyone. In case you have any questions, you can just unmute yourself and can come forward with your questions.
Hi, Jinesh. I do
Hi.
have some questions. Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So yeah, I am for talking about myself. I
Mm-hmm.
am a qualified chartered accountant
Mm-hmm.
and also a qualified US CPA
Mm-hmm.
from Montana State Board. Now,
Mm-hmm.
my question is that I completed my all the US CPA papers before arriving in Canada, and I
Okay.
want to apply for this MRA.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have certain questions, and I also reached out to IT registration at the rate cpontario.ca with some
Mm-hmm.
questions, but they failed to reply.
Okay.
And it's been more than 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
that they have not replied, and even I called them on the helpline that
Mm-hmm.
I emailed you and I have certain questions, but they said okay, like we are busy, we will get back to you, but they are not.
Mm-hmm.
So my questions is first of all, the reference recommendation form. In that, two members' signature has to be obtained. Now
Correct.
my question is it compulsory to be signed by the both the person should be CPA Canadian, or one can be CPA Canada and one can be US CPA?
So we can check. So in my instance, both were CPA Canadian members. So I was able to, get the reference recommendation pretty quickly. But from what I understand, it could be, you know, uh, I can check. I'm not 100% sure whether both can either can one can be CPA US or CPA Canada, but I don't think so. It should be a problem, but I can definitely check.
So you are submitting your documents to CPA Canada, am I correct?
Yes,
CPA on Ontario. Yeah.
So
Ontario.
ideally, should be like they should be taking undertaking from a local body. I personally believe it should be logically should be CPA Canada because that is something under their preview and under their guidance and whomsoever like a CPA Canada. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be CPA Canada and CPA US should not be an option over there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's my personal understanding of the things. That could be different.
Mm-hmm. Now, the thing was that when I reached out on a call to
Mm-hmm.
CPA Ontario, I reached out twice or thrice, and that I questioned all I had the questions, I asked them,
Mm-hmm.
and in one of the call, they said that yeah, like we understand that you can't have the contacts with the CPA Canadians, and so
Mm-hmm.
we allow you that
Mm-hmm.
one can be CPA Canada, one can be US CPA.
Mm-hmm.
When I
Okay.
again called them after few days or something, they said that they are not sure. And when I again called them thrice, they said that no, it can only be both CPA Canadian. So
Understood. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah. They can be they can be a little funny in that sense because it's better if you have something in on an email.
right.
Because there could be some executives who know or who are okay with it, and some maybe when it goes to the registrar, the topmost person who will review it, they might not accept it. So it
Yeah.
is better to have it on email, and I think in this instance it is better to have a CPA Canadian sign off
Yeah.
just to kind of help you with the process and nothing else.
Okay. So in that case, if I don't have any contacts with the CPA Canadians, I only have contact with one Canadian CPA, but not the other one. So
Mhm.
what can I do?
We can talk about it. Otherwise, if we can see if we can get you someone, and I think I'm sure Udit and I can
Yeah.
help you
People
on.
has been helpful over here. Like if you're to CA India and if you're to CA India, I personally believe that people will be able to sign off for you. We can connect after the call. I think there will be persons who will be willing to help you.
Yeah,
Should not be an issue. No worries.
All right. I do
Okay.
have certain other questions. Can I ask if that's
Please.
sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
okay? So, are there any upcoming changes to that to this MRA that can affect eligibility? Let's say because as you all would be knowing that there is an understanding agreement has been over between CPA Canada and CPA Ontario.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
would that affect the eligibility criteria? Like not right now, but afterwards, after let's say a few years,
Mhm.
1 or 2 years.
To my knowledge, Tirth, I don't know about any changes. I recently attended a CPA conference in Calgary, and we spoke with the CEO of CPA Canada, and she did. There are not many changes structural. There are only structural changes in terms of arrangement between CPA Canada, CPA Ontario, and CPA Quebec, but there are not many uh, these nuanced changes which have come out. There's nothing, no information or no update to that impact as of now.
Okay, all right. And also that the CPD requirements,
Hmm.
the CPERD, we need to complete 20 hours
Correct.
right, per year.
Hmm.
So on that case, if I complete the CPE hours of
Hmm.
US CPA,
Hmm.
would that be allowed or considered on CPERD?
No. So those are professional development courses of 20 hours, which you need to do once you become a member of CPA, any of the CPA body here in Canada. And that is something which there is an additional fee you have to pay for. I believe it is somewhere around 1,600 Canadian dollars. And that is to be done over a period of 2 years after you become a member. And that is required for when you are using this specific route. Only when you are using this specific route of MMRA, you are required to do that. I do not believe you can substitute your CP hours from US
Mm.
to against this.
Okay. So is that like a specific courses
Yes.
provided by CPA Ontario?
Yes, it's a specific course.
Oh, okay. Okay, I do have ex questions on practical experience form.
Yes.
So, so because as it's a very cumbersome process and complex, like a lot of complexities
Mm-hmm.
arise when like a person submits the practical experience form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say if I was working for an ABC company,
Mm-hmm.
and in ABC company, Z was my direct supervisor at that point
Mm-hmm.
of time. Now that Z has left the company
Mm-hmm.
and has joined PQR company.
Correct.
So can like if the Z is like despite he is in another company right now,
Mm-hmm.
he is willing to sign that. Would that be allowed?
Um, to answer your question, I think you can. You should be able to, but it is better to check beforehand with ITA. I think try. I understand you're not getting a response, but try sending them an email and try calling them up and harassing them that I need a response. So this is very important for me, and it is required. And this is just very important to my workplace. My promotion is getting stuck, so on and so forth. Just do whatever you could to get a response. But I believe you should be able to, because I was a mentor to some other candidate, but this is not CP Ontario. This is relating to ACA. I moved out and I was no longer his that person's direct supervisor, but I was able to um, give my signature or approval to his experience to the ACA board, and I think they kind of accepted that. So I'm just drawing some corollary, but it could be possible, I believe, is what my understanding is.
Hmm. So the thing is, when I reached out to the ABC company where I worked previously,
Mm-hmm.
the direct supervisor was not there, but the
Mm-hmm.
other supervisor, they denied that as you are no longer part of the ABC company, we will
Mm-hmm.
no longer sign any forms anywhere, nothing.
Understood.
So that's where I am having my
Yeah.
concerns. Now, I'm not sure what will I do because at one time the CPA Ontario doesn't reply, don't like are not replying to my questions, and in other cases, like on the other side, the ABC company is not signing my papers. So that's where I am stuck, and yeah, that's more of a problem right now. And also, like, let's say if in that case, the person, let's say the ABC company's other supervisor
Hmm.
is not signing, can I use the tool of notarize?
Um, they haven't mentioned anything about notarization on the website. Um, Again, I would, we can connect again. If I can do some more research on this, Tirth, I don't have an answer to this right away.
Mhm.
Uh, I can do some more research. We can connect on email or LinkedIn and even on WhatsApp. And I'll try to help you out, what you could do in this situation because sorry, I don't have an immediate answer right now.
That's okay. No problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
What I would say is like if you can just get it signed from with whomsoever you are working with, if there is no company per se at the moment, and if they are not reverting, I think they will be considered enough. In the past, I have like I'm having many friends who have been doing like using the reciprocity, and the people sitting over there have been like they're not very hard unless and until like your files goes to someone who's not having a very good day. But they generally pass through all the files. It's just a formality what they are doing. If the major check-in box, like it's just about the like how material the things are, which could be like you are a CA India or a CPA Canada, and you have done all your good standing certificate. You have done all the trainings. I believe those are the major. Rest of it's more about the materiality and the other things whichever are stuck. The email will come to you, and if you are reverting to them, and they are just satisfied. It will just be more kind of filling up the file to do the background. That's my understanding. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned that I am just stuck there and I don't know what to do. And so, as I mentioned that when I called twice or thrice, I asked these all sort of questions every time.
Nobody
Uh,
will reverting to you because nobody will be giving you a definite answer
yeah,
Yeah,
because
won't give
all
you a
the calls
definite.
are recording. Nobody reverting because it is something a gray area. And
yeah,
when you will be applying, I'm sure that they should pass it through. But nobody will reverting to you because ultimately all the calls are recorded and it will come to their job if it's something comes otherwise.
right.
Yeah.
So, as in one case, they said that no, it's not allowed, the notarized thing and everything, and the person of the direct supervisor, ABC company should only sign. The sad person has left, that doesn't matter. Right now, ABC company should sign. One as in one
Yeah.
call, they said that, yeah, it's okay, allowed. Like we understand that.
Just submit the application. Some things are not in your hand and something there's always a gray area. So just file it. You cannot do anything.
Okay.
You will be still be having a second chance. It's not that if you have filed and you
Yeah.
will be held liable. You will still be having a second chance rather than nothing. Just file it. In most of the cases, I have seen extremes. This is nothing. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The last question that I'm having is, I do have experience from public accounting firm and
Mm-hmm.
non-public accounting firm. So in the public accounting firm, we understand that we are having a supervisor or somewhere, a partner somewhere who is a
Mm-hmm.
CA or CP or EA, so they can sign at the third party verification. But what if the unit is a manufacturing unit and they are outsourcing their accounting, etc., etc., and none of my supervisor is a background having a professional background. So what shall we do? Like if the non-professional accounting background can sign, let's say he is a director, but he is willing to sign, but he doesn't have any qualification, CA, CPA, EA, something.
So I believe in that scenario, that becomes a direct supervisor, and a lot of people don't have CPA.
Yeah.
So I do not believe, and that I think the best case will be to get an experience letter signed by them because that's where you have worked, and they are willing to give you that experience certification that you have worked with them, and you have done the following, what you mentioned in your requirement, practical experience requirement. So I do not believe specifically they should have any concerns. But as Udit said, you might want to take a chance and get it signed from there. Or if you say that there are no supervisors at all who would have a CPA or who's ready to attest, then it is the best bet would be to get it signed by your direct supervisor, even if he's not a CPA in that sense.
And personally, what I believe is like over there, is it required to mention their qualification of your supervisor?
So in the third party verification page in the practical experience form, there is the two columns are there. Like first of all, the designation, like whether he's a CA or CPA something, then
Okay,
and in the second membership number,
okay,
two fields are mentioned. So
okay. Wait,
when I asked the CPO Ontario in this every call, at once they said that yeah, it's okay. We understand that it's not
should
compulsory
be.
because in the form itself there are two varieties of public accounting and non-public accounting, and it's not always compulsory that the non-public accounting would have any direct supervisor or something who are having a CA CPA. So it's okay. But what we can do, like
Mhm.
what you can do is you can leave the fields blank of the both designation and the membership number, and that's okay. It is allowed. But in the second, they said that no IT registration would help you in that practical experience. So I'm stuck in that.
No, I don't think if you're coming from India or there could be a variety of experience. It's not like your supervisor should necessarily be. You can
Yeah.
again, there is a column, but again, you can fill it and send it to. But it's again about the materiality. And again, it's my personal opinion. I don't think it should flow through. Um, uh, if there is no definite answer to it, it's always good to take a chance. And again, if anything happens, I personally believe there should be a you will be having a still having a second chance to revisit your application.
Okay. I think so. Yeah, I had those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can connect it later on, and we can
Yeah.
definitely see what we could do in this
Yeah.
scenario.
Okay.
I understand this. Every scenario is and ends up becoming unique. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, we can definitely assist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions?
No, not from my side. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you, Jinesh. Thank you, Udit.
Oh, no
okay.
problem.
So in case anyone has any question, you can just unmute yourself.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sure.
So actually, I have started doing I had registered for my US CPA from India,
Mm-hmm.
but I like now I've started studying it. Like it took time for me to settle here, move here, and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I just have a question. If I do my US CPA here,
Mm-hmm.
from what point I'll have to start my Canadian CPA?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Rishin? Sorry, I didn't get the second part.
So, okay. If I will appear for my exams here, I will
Uh,
be in
and
Canada
you,
when I appear for my UCP exams.
okay.
So, will I get any benefit from the MRA, or will I be eligible only to write, or like, will I be required only to write the CFE, or will I have to start the CPA Canada process altogether again?
So, did you say, are you a chartered accountant from India?
No, no, no.
Okay. So, in that situation, you are only able to use your MRA, and you have to fulfill two additional criterias which I mentioned. And if I can share my screen again, give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what it says is applicant who wrote one or more parts of the US CP examination while a resident of Canada. So, this is applicable for you. You need to have a university degree in the US or at least 1 year of full-time practical experience in accounting in the US.
Okay.
So, only then can use this route, because you would have to get clear all the exams, have 1 year of full-time practical experience in the US. And I believe when they say in the US, I believe you actually have to be physically present in the US. I'm not sure whether a remote job would be allowed or not, and again that is something you can clarify with the respective provinces. But my understanding is that it should be in the US, but we can definitely check if it is something otherwise. And You would have to clear all the exams, obtain your license, and only then you can apply for your CPA Canada.
Okay, but like Indian CPAs, they are required to only give the CFE. Is it the same for the US CPAs as well?
No, no, no. So if you're a chartered accountant from India, there is another route. There is another memorandum of understanding with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, where you can register as a student and give the CFE, which is a 3-day exam. And once you clear that, you get a membership to CPA Canada. So that's a
Okay,
different route altogether.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Also can give you so also can give a practical. So I know a person like who got a job in US, and like due to job he was supposed to be posted in Canada. So
Okay.
that was not a remote job, but yes, he was working from Canada,
Okay.
and that was a requirement of the job itself. And I know that person, and that person was able to get the CPA
Okay.
Canada degree.
Okay. Very
And
good. Very good. Yeah.
though he have done it in Canada itself while based in Canada, but yes, he have done a 1 year job in a US company sitting in Canada. But additionally, that job requires him to be in Canada doing a audit or to be
Correct.
giving a services to a Canadian company. So even if you can show that, you can.
Yeah. You
But
should be able
but
to.
but yeah, that was the thing. But yes, you should practically you should be based in or you should be in US to get that reciprocity. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, yeah, no. Thank you.
Okay.
No problem.
So in case anyone has any questions, can just unmute yourself.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Just continuing with the earlier question, but I am a qualified chartered accountant from India.
Mhm.
So, in that case, what is recommended?
In that scenario, if you don't have, if you can't fulfill the two requirements, the only ideal way will be to complete the CFE, give the CFE examination.
CFA examination. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
that's my understanding. Udit, do you have some other
Yeah,
understanding on
if
this
in
one?
case you're looking like it's completely depends on what your career is into and what you're looking forward in the future. If you have plans to be in Canada, so always the local degree, like the local what you are doing, depends on that. But yes, there could be various careers which persons follows. And like over here, I know the persons like based in Canada still practice US because it's a very big market. Then to expect tax or the other. So, but yes, definitely, US CPA also have a very good weightage here in Canada. I won't
Okay.
say equivalent, but yes, I will say almost equivalent to CPA Canada. But yes, if you want to do audit and other things, you will definitely have to do CPA Canada. It also depends upon what field you are working in. So there are multiple factors, so there is no definite answer to it.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Yeah.
okay, okay. Thank you. Any other questions? So thank you everyone.